This is John Paul Ryan coming to you from Tokyo, Japan. This is another feel-good article, and another classic actor from the 80s comes to defend Johnny Depp in the name of Winona Ryder, and this reminds me why I'm getting into this thing, because these are actors from my generation. I grew up watching these actors, and I'll admit I've got some kind of a emotional attachment, and the more and more that comes out, the more and more my feelings are confirmed that they're in the right. Winona Ryder comes to defense of ex-Johnny Depp and calls Amber Heard's claims of domestic violence impossible to believe in legal declaration. That's the important part. She's legally declaring it. She's not just saying it in a talk show, in an article. She's legally sending this to the court. Her take. Winona Ryder said she found Amber Heard's domestic violence accusations against Johnny Depp impossible to believe when she gave her declaration in his defamation lawsuit. So, she goes on to say, I obviously was not there during his marriage to Amber, but from my experience, which was so wildly different, I was absolutely shocked, confused, and upset when I heard the accusations against him, Ryder said of Depp on her legal declaration. Defending his character, Ryder and Depp were engaged during their 4-year courtship from 1990 to 1994, which included starring together in the quirky fantasy film Edward Scissorhands, which I remember. I remember that. Doesn't even feel like Johnny Depp. It's such a weird role, but okay, cool. During the opening of Ryder's declaration, she gave a brief history of her relationship with Depp that began back when they first met in 1989, and I was about 11 years old at that point, and including starring together in the 1990 romance fantasy Edward Scissorhands, which we just went over. I knew Johnny very well years ago. We were together as a couple for 4 years, and I counted him as my best friend and as close to me as family. I count our relationship as one of the more significant relationships of my life. I understand that it is very important that I speak from my own experience, the Stranger Things star stated. So up here they repeat what they said before about her filling out the declaration for the court. Then they continue to this. I do not want to call anyone a liar, but from my experience of Johnny, it is impossible to believe that such horrific allegations are true, she said during her legal declaration that was obtained by the blast. I find it extremely upsetting to know him as I do, and of course she just called Amber Heard a liar. Okay, if she wants to say she doesn't want to call her a liar, that's fine with us, but she did, and that's all that matters, and it's legal. Let's keep going. The actress added, the idea that he is an incredibly violent person is the furthest thing from the Johnny I knew and loved. I cannot wrap my head around these accusations. Ryder maintained that the man she knew during their romance was never violent or abusive towards her or anyone else, and this is consistent with all Johnny's other exes. So, if I was just coming into this like today and I heard the two sides of the story, what the hell is on Amber's side? We've got all this stuff on Johnny's side now. We've got the audio. We've got the crap on the bed. We've got Winona Ryder now. We've got the assistant, Amber's assistant, coming out against Amber Heard. So when I first came into this case, I was like, alright, let me see what this is about. Let me get my head around it. Let me try to be fair. Now, I don't have to be fair. It looks like Amber's totally at a loss here. Alright, so let's go over the article. A few of the important parts. Winona Ryder came to the defense of former fiancé Johnny Depp in her declaration as part of his defamation lawsuit against ex-wife Amber Heard. Let's think about this for a second. So, they've been apart for pretty much decades now. So, if Winona Ryder wasn't telling the truth, if she didn't really have, some kind of leftover feelings for Johnny as, a lifetime lover or something like that, she wouldn't come out and do this. And if Johnny had abused Winona, then Winona would probably come out on Amber Heard's side. These other exes would come out on Amber Heard's side. Hell, Amber Heard's assistant would be on Amber Heard's side. But nobody except her father and some crazy fans who don't know what the hell's going on basically are on her side. The Stranger Things star 48 said she found violence and abuse allegations against Depp impossible to believe. That's a pretty strong statement. She didn't say something like, well, I think, he wouldn't do something like that, or that doesn't sound like Johnny to me. She says impossible to believe, pretty strongly, meaning she can't imagine it. Obviously you know what that means. Okay, let's move on. Ryder explained that the description of Depp's an incredibly violent person is the furthest thing from the Johnny I knew and loved. And again, she's using this really strong language. She's not beating around the bush. She's not even trying to play Amber's side a little bit and be diplomatic. she's flat out saying it sounds nuts. In the last part here, they just go over the technical stuff about the lawsuit. We know that stuff. So this one here was kind of like the one that really got me confident that Amber Heard just has nothing on her side. You know, I was trying to think fair. I was trying to think, is there some possible thing Amber could say? Do we have this wrong about Johnny? And the reason I say that is because over the last 4 years, I've been doing news about Star Wars, Marvel, and entertainment, and let's be honest, sometimes something comes out that it's wrong. You got the wrong information. This person said something that they took back, and it's mixed up. But at this point, there's really nothing that's getting mixed up. And, you know, now that Winona Ryder comes out and says this, I am just like from 90% to like 99% that Johnny should really get this justice. And by the way, justice is not Amber Heard being removed from Aquaman 2. That would be nice, but the real justice is him winning the court case. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think about this down below. Consider subscribing. If you don't subscribe, I'll be pretty sad. If you do, that would be pretty nice. And yeah, we're done. See you next time.